Renegade Nation, wanted to hop on real fast before you jump into the episode. One, apologies that I haven't been on for a while. A lot of things that I've been working on, kind of in the background, figuring out what the direction is, and just giving myself some time to rest as I've transitioned to full time on my own as Renegade Training. But having said that, is one, through this episode, it's a great conversation with Sam Hickey, and you'll get to know him here a little bit more in the episode. But first, I wanted to let you know that the somewhere about the 15-minute mark, and I think about the 30-minute mark, the video completely drops off. Do not know why, but the sound keeps recording. So if you're listening to the audio, it doesn't affect you much. If you're watching the video, just know that the video does drop off, but you're going to hear both Sam and myself. So you're not going to lose any of the conversation other than just the visual side of it. Now, the second announcement that I have is just a disclaimer is that Sam is, and you'll hear this in the episode as well, is that Sam is one of the owners there. They're at Rocky Mountain Flex Fitness, where I'm a trainer at. And so just wanted to let you know that that's in the background. But him being an owner had nothing to do with necessarily with him being a guest. It was more that I believe that he just has a really fascinating story, which I think is going to help a lot of you navigate through transitions of life. And then lastly, just to let you know, so as you're listening to this and you're like, oh, well, I'm in Denver. I need a gym to work out in and might need even a personal trainer. So both Sam and I are working out of Rocky Mountain Flex Fitness. And if you are looking for one-on-one training, that is where I am at and where Sam is at. And then if you're looking for just more of the online support, either nutrition coaching or you're just looking for programs, there's a link in the show notes that you will be able to click on and be able to get more information about the online offerings. So without further ado, guys, it's so good to be back. Welcome back to Renegade Radio. This is Season 2, Episode 004 with Rocky Mountain Flex Fitness's Sam Hickey. Everyone, Happy New Year. Welcome back to Renegade Radio. It's been a hot minute, but hopefully everybody has had a great holiday season. We're going big, guys. I have here with me Sam Hickey. I've known him only for the last couple months, but have found out that he's got some secret talents, and he is probably secretly a superhero. He just actually won't let anybody know about it. Sam, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. All right. Well, I want to just start from the beginning. I'm just going to turn it over to you. Why don't you tell us what is your origin story? You know, where'd you grow up? Where'd you come from? How'd you end up to where you're now behind this camera talking to me?
That's a long journey, but I can give you the Cliffs Notes.
Perfect.
So I was born and raised in a small town in Nebraska. You know, nothing special there. And I wasn't a farm kid, but I definitely didn't know any of the big cities because there aren't really big cities in Nebraska.
No, there's not.
So very, very quiet childhood. And service was always going to be on my plate. Regardless of what branch or anything like that. But I decided to join the Marine Corps straight out of high school. And from 2009 until 2017, I was a Marine. As soon as I transitioned out, I knew that I had benefits afforded to me, so I figured I might as well use them. And Denver seemed like a cool place to end up, so I moved out here essentially on a whim and used my GI Bill. And throughout my years, I walked into Rocky Mountain Flex Fitness as a member. And now, as of about 3 years ago now, I'm now an owner. So that is how we met.
Absolutely. We're in Nebraska.
A smaller town called Columbus, east side, about an hour and a half northwest of Omaha.
We have family that are in Kearney, Grand Lake, and North Platte.
Oh, yeah, North Platte's
All
closer to us.
yeah.
It's way up there, Columbus.
And so that's my experience with Nebraska. And so, for those of you who are wondering, like, there's got to be a big town in Nebraska. I can confirm there are just no big towns.
Even
Like Omaha
even
might be the biggest.
Yeah, it is. It is the biggest thing. Even there, it's not too big.
So when you say that service was always in your future, is that just because you had people that were in your family that were in military, or what was your thinking behind that?
Yeah, so I all of my grandfathers and my father and my brothers have all served, and one is still serving. But I think it was just it's kind of one of those things that I don't know if it was raised with me or what, but I always knew that service would be a component of my life and how far it went. I mean, 8 years is quite a bit of time, but not as much as other people who retire from the service and all of that. But I do continue to serve as well, serving veterans the best I can.
So let's actually touch on that because I think that was one of that was actually the tipping point. I think is and I'll if you're okay with that, I can link it in the show notes with your interview. Is
Sure.
your continual service to vets? So talk a little bit more about like what you do there, how you're serving them, and then even if whoever's listening and whoever's you share this with who might benefit from what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said earlier, when I got out of the Marine Corps, I had no idea how to be a civilian, let alone be a student. I knew that I had GI Bill benefits afforded to me. I didn't quite understand what that meant. So when I walked into college, I basically had to get on my knees and say, I have no idea what I'm doing. I need help. Like, show me what to do because I have no idea. And I know that I'm not the only one and I won't be the last one. So I was fortunate enough to secure employment at the University of Denver in the Veteran and Military Resources Office. And there, what we do now is we provide an orientation for all GI Bill users when they show up to the University of Denver. Hey, these are the benefits you have afforded to you for education wise. This is how it applies to you. This is how you can maximize it. And this is how you can be a successful student and get the most out of your college experience. And over the years, I've been fortunate to meet so many fantastic vets. The thing that really sucks about the VA, unfortunately, is that like there's information out there, but you gotta dig for it. It's not a it's not an easy thing to find. And the easiest way to get information is from another veteran. And yeah, I just love talking to other veterans, and I pick up on all of these great benefits that we have afforded to us. And now the more I talk to people, the more I learn, the more I get to connect people to services and help them out. So it has grown from education now into anything veteran. So I love getting my hands dirty and getting into the trenches and figuring out how to support my brothers and sisters.
I want to go back to something that you said because I think in just life, civilian life outside of military, which I have no experience of, but I do know that transitions can be difficult at times. So what was your thought process? So you're coming toward the end of your military career, you're about to transition out and be like in a completely different life. What was your like, what were you thinking at that point, and what do you wish that you knew as you were coming out that would have probably helped that transition? Or if you almost think about it this way, if you can go back and talk to younger Sam and be like,
Mhm.
"Bro, you probably should be doing it," thinking about doing things differently. How would you approach that?
That's a fantastic question. So yes, I was very fortunate in that I had a pretty decent transition, but I know plenty of my brothers and sisters that have such a tough time because I mean, especially in the Marine Corps, it's you're indoctrinated and this is a set way of life. And to kind of answer your question, what I would tell my younger self is not to get hung up on not having a purpose. So one of the things that's really beautiful about military services, you have a mission. You understand what the point of you doing anything is. Sometimes it may not seem like it, but at the end of the day, if you really boil it down, your mission is to protect the United States of America. And that's a noble endeavor. You understand like that is something that is bigger than you and you get to contribute to it. Now, when you leave service, it is so common. And I felt very alone in that I thought that I had lost all of my purpose. And I had no direction in life. I still kind of don't have a direction, but I know that serving veterans is definitely a direction that I'm going to keep going down. But I would tell my younger self to not get wrapped up in not having a purpose or a perceived purpose. And like I said, it's something that is common amongst a lot of veterans that I run into. Hey, I kind of lost my purpose. I don't know what to do now. And those are some of my favorite conversations to have, because then you get to go down into several rabbit holes. Well, like, what do you like to do? And then I really get to learn about the person. And then I'm like, oh, that sounds like a really cool purpose for you. Maybe that's something that'd be cool for me in the future.
So let's take this rabbit hole, let's make it bigger, and let's just jump even further down into it. Yeah. Because I really love I really love the topic of purpose and identity, because one, it's been something that I've myself have traveled down quite a bit in probably mid 2024, and then a lot of last year. The with the transitions and which I imagine this is what you're running, as you just mentioned, that you're running into with vets that are transitioning out into civilian life. What are, like, I'm not exactly what the exact question would be, but how are you approaching those individuals that are struggling with, and you did talk about a little bit, you just touched on the, what do you enjoy?
Hmm.
How else do you go about engaging, like, essentially coaxing it out of them of, like, this could be a new purpose. This could be a new identity. How do you go about with those conversations?
That's a fantastic question. And the way that I have found best to do it is just to be around other veterans. You never know what is going to come out of a conversation, but keeping an open mind and being open to going into rabbit holes and being curious, I think, is the best way to get information out of veterans, and then also finding other veterans. Just because I have a conversation with one veteran doesn't mean it's not about another veteran who's struggling. So when I am fortunate enough to find somebody that is going through a tough time or anything like that, I always raise my hand. Hey, how can I help? And most of the time, it's a conversation. I think a lot of us get wrapped up in those big life changes, and I haven't found a better way to reach more veterans, but I am continually looking for ways to reach more veterans and just be of service, really. So yeah, like it all comes down to conversations with them and really being curious of how I can help. And I think the
With your
curiosity, go ahead.
the just as a follow-up was in relation to that, because as I'm attempting to put myself in your shoes, or if, with a soldier that's about to move into a different lifestyle, I would assume, like, assuming like an athlete is about to retire, there is, you have been immersed in this environment for, in your case was 8 years, others, maybe 2, 4, or, career long. That indoctrination of, I am a Marine, you fill in the blank. How did you, I mean, is that something that you still find, like, part of a story that you tell yourself, that even though you've already, you've been removed from the Corps for a while, so there's still gotta be a little bit part of you that still says, like, I'm Sam, but I'm also a Marine, right? So how do you deal with that? I don't know if it's a true dichotomy, but how do you deal with that shifting of identities of, like, this is who I was for, like, 8 years, and, my purpose and everything that was behind it, to where you're at now? I mean, I'm sure that's gotta be an interesting play that you're going back and forth with.
It can be really tough because not every situation requires you to be a Marine. There's definitely stereotypes and things that people immediately grasp to for the Marines, and that isn't necessarily helpful in every situation. While that can be helpful in a lot of situations, it can just kind of come off weird to people. So what I have found in my work, in my own life, I know when it is time to turn on Marine Sam, and then when it is time to just
Sam.
adapt to the situation. Yeah, and just be Sam. Like there, of course, there are going to be times that the Marine in me comes out, and in my journey, I have now been out longer than I was in, so I'm just on the other side of 8 years out. When I first left the service, it was a little bit harder to get out of that mindset, just because it was my basically all of my adult life up until that point was being a Marine. Finding that talking with other veterans and kind of getting their perspective on life, and then also re-immersing myself into civilian life too, was something that I struggled with slightly, but I know a lot of my friends and my brothers and sisters have had a tougher time coming back to not reality, but like civilian life. So with the I was fortunate that I was very curious about civilian life and getting to start in higher education. That is a completely different world than the military. Like, almost think of it like a dichotomy. And like, it was just starkly different. And being curious about academia and all of that jazz allowed me to kind of like find a happy medium somewhere in the middle. Like, yes, I still have Marine tendencies, but my mind has been open to other perspectives and seeing how other people see the world, because just how I see the world is not the way the world is.
Does that mean that, in the sometime in the near future that we're gonna see Professor Sam?
I don't know about that.
To
I've
see
done a
where
lot of
that
school. I don't,
curiosity takes you.
yeah, I don't, yeah, that is one of the things that I think has really been kind of one of my strengths is I see an opportunity and I will absolutely seize it and see where it goes. Like,
Oh,
I
I love it.
never imagined that I would own a gym, never imagined that I would work at a gym. Like, never crossed my mind. And now here I am. I own part of it and I'm there every single day.
Yeah, you are. I can confirm. We'll confirm Sam's workouts. So transitioning, just a little bit now, what you mentioned about the being just on the other side of longer out of the military than having been in, I'm curious now because you're well, I'll just ask a question because I think it'll just be easier, but who has inspired you, or who are the people or person that you've looked up to kinda help
Mhm.
guide your journey and your path on this side now?
Yeah. So first and foremost, Chris Lane, who you're familiar with, he and I think very similarly, and that's kind of how I got turned on to this ownership piece. Is that we thought very similarly, and we kind of understood like the business side of things. Like, everything we do in that place is to try and make it better. Does it work out every time? Of course not. But we're fortunate that we think very similarly, and we have kind of similar feelings about operations and making people feel welcome, and just like more or less philosophies on life. We share a lot of the similar values. So he, first and foremost, he's a damn good friend, and he has taught me so much on this side of the Marine Corps. Others that I've come across, the director of veteran services, as soon as I got out and I said I was lost, he helped me find my way. And he allowed me to more or less do what interested me throughout my time at the University of Denver. I was able to start teaching other veterans, like, hey, this is what these are what your education benefits mean to you, and this is how it works here, and this is how you can be successful. So those are, I would say, like the two biggest influences. And then, of course, all of my veteran friends, just those who have come before me and had been out longer than I had, they kind of showed me the ropes. And then those who come out after me, they help me understand what the emerging problems are of veterans that are leaving the service, because it's totally different than, I mean, it's not totally different, but there are different nuances to veterans coming out now versus when I got out in 2017. The impacts of COVID on military service. I was in college when that happened, so I had a completely different experience. I never thought about my friends that were still serving on active duty, what they had to go through, and the just sheer boredom they had during that time.
Yeah, I'm sure that would have been, yeah, I'm sure that's a completely different experience that, those of us on this side with COVID happening, I'm sure that was,
Oh, yeah.
that was an experience to say the least.
The end of the war, veterans now are coming out without seeing the things that I saw. And there were guys before me who saw way different things than I did. It's always interesting to hear like the slight nuances of different veterans from different eras, but there's so much similarity. Like the esprit de corps, the brotherhood, like all of that has permeated through the ages, which is one of the things that I am always looking to foster because I think there's a lot to be said about having a connected society or a connected place or something unifying. It's really, really powerful in how people act.
Yeah, agreed. I want to because both you and I know each other from the gym, and then we're touching on the gym side, and obviously with Chris Lane. What I'm now want to kind of dig into more a little bit is your fitness life. Like, how does so even before you got into the military, and you said that you joined shortly after high school. What was
hmm
were you playing sports? How has fitness played a part in your life and all this other stuff?
Yeah. So oddly enough, I have never been a gifted athlete. Yeah, I did sports in high school, but I was not
You
good.
did sports,
In
but
fact,
doesn't necessarily play sports kind of deal?
yeah. Well, I did cross country and track because I had no zero coordination, still do. But I, so I would it's kind of a funny story. In seventh grade, I believe it was, sixth or seventh grade, we were doing tryouts for track. What they did is they just had you try everything, and then whatever you were best at is what you were put into. I wasn't good at any of it, but I got put into distance running solely because I ran the mile, but I skipped a lap. So like my time was pretty okay. And I ended up in distance running. I was god awful at it. I always back of the pack, like just dead last in races, like throughout my high school career. And like, but I think like I always tried. I never had the talent for it. And my nickname was Jumbo, so that didn't help either. I was
That's
a little
that's
rotund,
unfortunate.
a little rotund. And then through my time in the Marine Corps, one of the things that they kind of beat into our heads is that we're kind of like athletes because our job and our lifestyle is very active. I mean, we have to be ready at all times to answer whatever call comes our way. And I think that kind of put the fitness bug into me. And as I have gone through my fitness journey, I've found that my mental health becomes not bulletproof, but it gets better when I move my body and I am able to test myself and I am able to focus on something other than what's going on in here.
I've never asked this before, and I think with you having been in the Marines, I think this would be a unique perspective, especially with the work, helping out other veterans. Is I don't know if lack of fitness would be the right word, but I'm just gonna use it. But do you, in your experience, have found that lack of fitness or the lack of working out for veterans who are leaving is tougher on their mental health? Because they're used to, they're doing PT drills or whatever because of, however the day is structured, but now there's obviously no structure and it's more difficult to, kind of do it on their own. Is that something that you've started encountering?
That's a great question. So, yes, and yes, when I do find that a lot of veterans that are struggling have lost touch with their physical exercise regimen, whatever you want to call it. And I think that it is a missed opportunity for a lot of them. But there are plenty of veterans who love fitness and will continue fitness for the rest of their life. Several veterans. There are those who leave the service and without that structure, their lifestyle kind of tends to go down the drain, whether that's too much eating, not enough exercising, not enough sleep, drugs, alcohol, you name it. And I do think that a lot of us, everyone can benefit from exercise like that. I don't think that's a crazy accusation to make. But unfortunately, especially during the war, a lot of people got injured and they started losing their losing abilities. And I am so thankful that there are so many programs out there to get veterans out and get them moving and take care of them that way. It's like specialized programs, like I can talk to somebody who's lost a leg, but training them, I don't know. I've never encountered that. Like, what does that look like? Like, how do I mold my training methods to ensure that they're getting a good workout and they're not feeling left behind or any like there's a lot of sensitivities to it, of course, but I think to answer your question, yes, there can be a lot of us that lose touch with our physical side, and it is an opportunity for everyone to kind of get back on that horse, and it's another tool in the toolbox for them to feel more more like themselves and feel better.
And just so shifting out just a little bit as we start coming toward the tail end of the show is what's next for Sam? Like what is your new purpose now? What are we pursuing? What do you see on the horizon for you?
That's a great question, and unfortunately, some of it's classified. But so right now, I'm in an executive MBA program at Santa Clara University, and I'm thankful to use my GI Bill benefits there. I do see a lot of opportunity for work that I had previously done at the University of Denver to serve veterans, and I think that right now that is the 5 meter target for me is to serve veterans at Santa Clara University and make their lives better. Long term, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. So for those of you out there that are still searching for your purpose, I'm right there with you. Um, it's not an easy journey, but it's a journey nonetheless.
What is when I was probably man, I don't know, this ages me now, but when I was around, it was probably when I got out of college, so this was my transition, and so I'd probably say from 20 to 25-ish, 26, that purpose was really tough for me, so discovering the attempt to discover what I wanted to do, who I was supposed to become, all this, all the kind of the existential stuff that we kind of go through or whatnot. And similar to what you just said about, it's a long journey. It's something that we kind of this discovery process. So with you, what have you learned about this discovery process and about this decision making of long term? How have you navigated this?
Great question. So I think I did say this earlier. I've been extremely fortunate in the opportunities that have been presented to me. What I will say is that it was extremely helpful to just be open to new experiences and to jump into something knowing that I knew absolutely nothing about it. Like when I started working I worked behind the front desk at the gym and had zero idea. Like I understood like how to get things done in the Marine Corps, but like I didn't know what that was in civilian life. Thankfully, Chris recognized that I was willing to take on new things, take things off of his plate. So I'm sure he appreciated that. But I would start taking on things, not knowing anything about it and tinkering with it. Luckily, I had the safety net of Chris. He was behind me the whole way, but I just started playing with different variables and being curious about how things worked and how I could make them better. And it has led me down just many, many, many rabbit holes, but it hasn't quite given me like the overarching plot. So maybe that is my purpose, is to just find the small short-term problems and solve them and move on to the next ones. But I'm still searching for that North Star. I'm looking for my purpose. And everybody's journey is different. And I think if I could go back to your earlier question and tell younger Sam, like, trust the process and just keep pushing forward.
how do you, because I'm really bad at this, but I'm a recovering addict of this of this deal, and I'm sure others probably have this issue, but it's the expectation, right? So so you go into the gym, you're working behind the front desk, and but you have this expectation of yourself, which is a false ceiling, or it's just not something that's there. So how do you manage? So during your exploratory process, how have you been able to manage your own expectations?
Fantastic question. So I am a subscriber of Stoic philosophy, and I have found in my study of that kind of brings me comfort in not putting too much expectation on the outcome of something and being open to the idea of like taking things as they come. I can't control what happens, but I can control how I respond. And I think over my time and study of that, it doesn't make things easier, but it more or less brings me comfort. And facing the unknown and being willing to adapt and overcome, which also ties back to my military service. Like that is improvise, adapt, and overcome. That's one of my favorite isms that I've come out of the Marine Corps with. And I don't think it's specific to the Marine Corps, but the ability to navigate uncertainty is what brings me comfort in having more or less no expectations of the outcome, knowing that I'm going to give what I can to make things better and I'm going to learn from my experiences and keep moving forward.
How would you this I'm going to see if I can blend all of your worlds and
Okay.
see if I can distill this into one question. Ladies and gentlemen, this could be an absolute dumpster fire of a question, so I have no idea how this is going to play out. So, Sam, thank you for entertaining what is about to come out of my mouth.
Of course.
So, what I'm looking at from what you've described with you and I being in the gym world, and from at least what I've seen and observing of the demographic that majority comes to the gym and works out, I do find it's on the younger side. Probably say I would say probably fits anywhere between like the 27 to maybe 27 to 37, 40ish kind of age demographic.
Yeah. I think it's
Uh,
reasonable.
but because of your experiences, you've lived a life thus far that is unique, and has definitely seen things, has overcome challenges, has had to improvise and adapt. But there are those that are within the gym. So imagine like this is an opportunity for you to be able to kind of hold like this little mini coaching seminar for those who are in the gym who might be, they're either, searching for purpose, like, they're struggling with, something in life that's just, you know, for them is not, they've never encountered before. They may even have some expectations on themselves that are not true. They're how would you, granted this is with a broad brush, but like how would you go about speaking to individuals that are in the gym who fit that demographic, who probably need, a Professor Sam to be able to come alongside them to help coach them?
Yeah. So great question.
Thank
What
you for
I
thinking
would
so.
say, what I would say is to give them some sort of coaching. One, they have to be open, uh, open to new experiences, open to being uncomfortable, open to failing. I mean, plenty of failure in my time. I'd still fail daily at something, whether it's small, whether it's massive. Like failure is just part of the process. And being open to those new experiences will expand your world. And what I would love to tell people is to travel the world and try out new things, try out new places, meet new people. And that you may or may not have access to those resources. But fortunately, we live in Denver, and Denver is a relatively large city. So there is a lot to offer here. There are a lot of people I haven't met. There are a lot of experiences that I haven't tried yet. But being open to experiencing new things, I would say, is probably the first step. And let me walk that back just a second. In fact, I would say having a support network is something that is really important as well. Having friends that either you can join or experience new things with, or having them to fall back on and be like, hey, this sucked. Like, this was not for me. Or, hey, I need to talk about this. I don't know if I like it necessarily or anything like that. Just having people that are in your corner, it would be a massive help. And I am more than happy to be in anyone's corner because you might learn something that I have never experienced before. And if it sounds cool, I'll try it out. Yeah. So support network and being open to trying new things are two pillars of just getting out there and experiencing new things.
Love it. Sam, as we draw this to a close, want to know how do you, other vets get a hold of you? How do do you hang out online? What's the best way to get a hold of you if people are interested in contacting you? What are the best ways here?
Yeah. So I don't know, put up smoke signals, but
Cool.
the best way to get a hold of me is probably on LinkedIn, unless you are familiar with somebody that knows me. Then you're more than welcome to have my phone number. But for other veterans, LinkedIn would probably be the best way if they're not local. If you're local, please come to the gym. More than happy. I never get my workout done anyways because everybody wants to talk, which is a fantastic problem to have.
Yeah.
But
I'm not one of those people.
that's
Just want to let everybody know that I'm not that guy who's doing that.
but yeah, I'm more than happy to talk to anybody about anything, and I might learn something new. You might learn something new. Who knows?
Are you accepting applications for workout partners?
Absolutely. If you can keep up, by all means.
I just want
Is
to know
it
what'll happen.
now? Now, in my mid 30s, I am finally becoming confident in my athletic abilities.
Hey, there you go. It's better now than never, you know what I mean? So it's a late
Sure.
blooming kind of situation. Sam, so is there anything is there like a parting message, wise saying, is there or anything that we haven't covered that you feel that would be important that
Hmm.
you'd like to share?
I don't know if wisdom's going to come out, but no, I think a parting message is life can hit really, really hard. Just know there are people out there that care and reach out to them. I'm one of those people. So reach out to me if you need it. I'm always happy to help. You don't have to be a veteran. Like service will continue to be a thing. And I'm not just serving vets. I'll serve anyone who needs help. So if you need help, reach out.
That's awesome. Sam, hey man, thank you so much for hanging out today. This was great. And guys, I will have notes for so you can find us at the gym at Rocky Mountain Flex Fitness. I'll have his LinkedIn profile there, so you can reach out to him if you know of a vet that could definitely needs that support. Sam will be. I really hope that you use him as a point of contact. And, and then again, I will confirm his interview that he had with the news last month, a couple months ago, actually. So anyway, Sam, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to be able to talk soon.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
See ya.